welcome to another episode of Bros, Bumps, and Beers. I am your co-host, Pat, the EST of Triple B, Gagne, and with me as always is Matt. Guys, guess how many beers I drank tonight? Gagne! And of course, last but not least, our third member of our team, Jordan, the Fraud Schofield. How are we doing tonight, boys?
Hey, Pat, why don't you crack a beer?
I'm a fraud. Hold on a sec, Pat. Do you want to tell us a bit about the pants situation you're currently in?
The pants? I spilled beer all over them. I cracked the beer. This is our second take.
Yeah, it's our second take.
See, watch. This is how you do it.
Oh.
I guess I shook. I don't know. It was a really bad spill. I think I got about half a can left.
That's unbelievable. Yeah, it's too bad. I guess all the good family genes did go to Matt. Hold on.
Well, I mean.
Oh, that was the eye. That was
in the eye. Karma. There it is.
Man down.
At least it's not on your crotch. It's not on your crotch.
Man down. All right,
I got a Nordic Pale Ale all over my crotch.
This is what happened.
Oh.
3 beers.
Can't wait to hear about that.
Yeah. So here we are, boys. Another episode. We are episode 8, Matt?
Yes.
Wow.
I started writing them down because I can't.
Did you? Did you put a little? I'm starting to get a tattoo on my arm of a line each time we do an episode.
It's almost like I number each one
killer.
Online, and you could just look.
Online. I feel like Jordan's gonna be a pain in the ass this week.
I am 3 beers.
But so big news over the weekend. We didn't go out on a big group outing to a brewery. We had the honor of going to Jordan's surprise 29th birthday party over the weekend. That's fantastic.
Woo, happy birthday, Jordan.
And for those of you at home who are shaking your head going, why the hell are they having a surprise 29th birthday? We were all with you. Don't worry. We had no idea
don't know why either.
I mean,
sometimes the ladies in your life just get an idea.
Your sister, man, she really put it all out there for your 29th birthday. And I looked at her and she fake emails, lies, deceit. And I looked at her, I'm like, what are you going to do for his 30th birthday? And
I'm borderline terrified, to tell you the truth. She's a chip off the old block. So if I almost don't want her to escalate for 30 because I'm scared of what it'll be. There might be like a fake murder. My parents it might be something like a horror movie, a horror show, if you will. So I'm gonna for my 30th birthday, I'd like to actually go to a brewery and actually go to a restaurant.
That's a good story to come up. But before we did that, I wanted to share with everybody this story before we went. So Matt was so nice with my dad to come pick me up from my place to go to the party. And I get in the car and I go, hey, Matt, did you take an allergy pill? Because Jordan's parents have a cat.
Wow.
And my dad was like, yeah, did you take one? And I was like, I could have brought you one. He's like, we'll stop at Shoppers. I'm like, good, because I don't want the same repeat event that we had. Remember, what was it, 5-6 years ago? We went to our friend Drew's house.
5 years ago, I think.
Yeah, he had, ladies and gentlemen, a 20-year-old cat in his condo. And Matt had to go to
alive still?
Yes. Matt was almost not alive. He had to go to the hospital with an asthma attack. Did you go on Ventolin?
Yeah, I had to take it's like a Ventolin inhaler thing, and they high dose you with Ventolin. Yes.
Matt was almost put to rest by a 20-year-old cat.
I skipped the line and emerged. That's how serious it was. I was in distress. I could not breathe. So this is a real thing.
So you leave it to me and my dad to turn a joke into it. And I told him, yeah, we better stop at Shoppers because I don't want to hear this all night when you got a cat in the house. Because Matt has a very distinct cough when he's got allergies.
Don't do it. This is going to be bad. It's going to be hard to cut audio. Oh, Jesus. You're trying to start a car?
It's like, and that's no word of a lie. That is spot on what it is. You just do it. Ready?
You look so unimpressed right now.
I'm super not happy you just told that story. For the record, when we got to Jordan's parents, I was informed that the cat was hiding in the closet anyways and would not come out. So I was happy about that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but then we get there and we're all getting together, we're all waiting, and then Jordan's coming. And if you need to see one thing in your life, it is Jordan Schofield coming through a door. Thought he was going to tackle the door. That's how much of a purpose he had coming through that door. Because originally the plan was for him to go to his parents' place and then go meet us all at Non-Such Brewery, Jordan's favorite brewery. And his sister pulled a fast one on him. 15 people. We got out on the patio, and then it rained, and then she lied. Oh, we're going inside. They got us a spot inside. So Jordan's pumped. opens the door. Surprise!
He was like surprised,
yeah,
but also there was a lot of disappointment.
And why was that, Jordan?
The plan was to also go out for a pretty nice dinner, and if there's one thing I enjoy on this planet, it's a new restaurant I've never been to with some food that I think is weird and interesting. So it was also, as you may have guessed, I am a man of structure, and
that
does not.
You're laid back. You're laid back, Jordan.
Someone flipping the plans on me causes me a little bit of distress. I think I spent the first 15 minutes shaking everyone's hand and making sure everyone was like happy and had a drink and no one was like hungry or anything, because I just
and then everybody's handing Jordan craft beers, and I think he opened 3 when he only needed to drink 1.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure which ones I'd open, so I'd see a new one and open it, and so at that point I was chugging craft beers. So no, in the end, an amazing night, and the main purpose of these birthdays, I think, is to have all my friends get together, and almost everyone could be there, which I think is impressive because in these day and age it's hard.
And
so
with the big success of the pod, craft beer was a big talking point with everybody. Everybody's gathering, oh, look what I got, and talking about what they liked, why they hated everything Matt drinks, why they liked everything Pat drinks, why they're not too sure what Jordan's rating.
Nobody said they hated what I drink.
I heard someone say, I don't like IPAs. It sounded like my voice, but
it might have been me over and over again. Like Rain Man.
The best thing about the party,
I know what it was.
The spread.
Well, that was yeah, you're right. That was the best thing.
You know what? So at first supper, Bill and Janet made chicken burgers. So there was a regular chicken burger. Oh man, it was well seasoned, solid taste. It wasn't too crispy. Great job. I give it a 2.5.
Wow.
Okay. It was
what did you give it in the morning after?
I didn't have one, so I don't know.
No, there's a little spice.
Oh, hang on. But then we get to the spicy chicken burgers. That was another.
It was Jordan level spicy chicken.
It was, and then with the spicy chicken burger, you put the spicy mayonnaise on top.
The Cajun mayo.
You know what? I will say top notch. Probably one of the best chicken burgers I've ever had. 3.5.
You were still doing this?
3.5.
My mom told me after, in all seriousness, she said, everyone was disappointed I didn't make jerk chicken. The truth is, I didn't think they could handle it. That was
she told me that.
Exact words.
But I'm not done. I'm not done. Can I finish my review, please?
Oh, sorry. Great.
So we finished it with dessert, of course. We had the ice cream cake from Dairy Queen. Blizzard cake. Cookie dough. This is my review. Can I please speak?
Sorry.
So it was.
You've been speaking a lot, though.
Yeah. So you can't go wrong with a good DQ Blizzard cake. You really can. Creamy, great taste. That middle brown chocolate. Oh, spectacular. Never disappoints. 4 out of 5.
That's actually pretty accurate. I would have given that ice cream cake a 4 out of 5.
But there was a big controversy around cake time. Now, of the three of us here,
Genie cake sucks.
Genie cake is the worst damn thing ever.
I don't know what a genie like.
Matt, explain what Genie cake is. Explain what Genie cake is, Matt.
Hold on, I get to Wikipedia. Genie cake?
Genie's cake, I believe.
Oh, it's a person?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Genie's cake is a Winnipeg staple. It is dry cake in like a rectangle with this hard cookie on the bottom.
Looks like a log.
Like, the icing is sweet, but it's just I've gotten it right from the bakery where they make these cakes.
Like Gene's Bakery.
Yeah, I've got it right from there, and it's still dry. And
it's warm. It's always warm.
There's no middle ground. There's no middle ground with the Genie's cake. It's either you hate it or you love it.
Guys,
anyone who's in the middle is a liar.
I thought a Genie cake was like a cake known nationally, and it was just like Genie spelt like G-E-N-I-E.
No.
It goes with our episode today because it's purely Winnipeg.
Yeah, and I mean, that is the only thing that company makes. How they are still in business is beyond me. That stuff is hot garbage. I would never wish that on my worst enemy.
I don't think they've ever heard of a professional photographer. Just looking on their website, and it looks like someone someone with a potato decided to take pictures of some of their stock.
The last thing I will say about Jordan's birthday is, so they had 2 tables set up when you came downstairs playing beer pong. First of all, in Jordan's family, they don't mess around. They play with 10 cups. I have never played with 10 cups in my life. It was way more fun than 6. It was 4 times as fun. No, that's wrong.
No.
It was 66% more fun.
Thank you.
There it is.
But also, I have not actually played beer pong probably in like 2 years. So Jordan's sister being younger, quite a bit younger than I am, I think 10 years younger than I am, was,
More than that.
How old is she?
22.
You don't know if you don't know the Jordan. If you don't know the answer, you can't cut him off and say she's way younger.
She's about 10 years younger than I am. She starts saying, "Oh, it's because you can't play anymore. You're too old. You're too old." So I started playing. I played with my wife. Secret is, you play with the DD. My wife absolutely mopped the floor with everyone she played beer pong against. She played with the drunkest people there, which probably were me, and she still won every game. So thank you, Jordan and your sister, for
the weirdest backhand throwing technique I've ever seen in my life.
It's like she's turning double plate.
She was throwing it. Yeah, she was throwing it like she was tired of someone's shit. She was like, "Fuck off," and the ball would go in the cup. It was mystifying. She was like, "Ugh." It's like, I hate this game, and then the ball.
And you know what? You know what? Good on her, because the whole night she had to contend with somebody going next to her the whole time. So.
All right, let's get to beer reviews, please.
Well, Matt, you seem to be drinking one pretty quick, so let's get you to start things out.
You're gonna get me to start. Well, okay. So I mentioned just a few minutes ago, kind of the theme of this week's episode is Winnipeg, and obviously we do local beer reviews. There's a local brewery that rents space here in Winnipeg. They Jordan's flexing and
why are you shirtless every
He's
episode?
Always shirtless.
I don't understand.
I love it.
Because I'm fucking yoked up, bro.
So at where St. Mary's and St. Anne's intersects, there's a little shop called Grain to Glass.
Oh.
Now, Grain to Glass, you can actually buy the ingredients to recreate the beers they brew at Torque. So Grain to Glass rents space at Torque, brews beers, distributes them, and you can actually buy the ingredients to brew these beers. So this week, I chose to drink and review their In a Nutshell peanut butter porter.
Ugh.
Now, I will say this 6.2% ABV beer, I believe peanut butter is the wrong way to describe it. It's more of a peanut beer. I get more roasted peanuts, that kind of flavor. It's less smooth and creamy than maybe most peanut butter beers. That being said, it's still very good. It's got good peanut taste. It's got good chocolatey notes, a little bit of a smoky note too. It's my second favorite of the 4 beers that they release. On Untappd, follow me at Gagne Matt with People probably hate that.
For sure. Do you know how much I have to turn the audio down when we do that? It's almost like 25% of what we usually do.
On Untappd, I gave it a 3.75. It is.
No, you didn't.
It is solid. It is
this
very
just
drinkable.
Furthers the understanding that nothing's better without butter. Because the second, I never knew how much I'd hate hearing about a beer until Matt was like, "Yeah, it's more peanut than peanut butter," and I cringed. And also, why haven't we had a nitro peanut butter stout yet? I feel like those things just line up.
Those don't can well. That's the problem.
I guess they don't. The fucking Winnipeg. Nitro taps. Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna do this because I've avoided it. That's the first Grain to Glass we do on the show. You know how I measure how good Grain to Glass is? How many sips I can take before I pour the whole thing down the sink.
Ouch.
It's not grain to glass. It's grain to sink in my house. Okay, it's so brutal.
Oh Jesus!
Their best beer is that Walter Malone.
Okay,
I think I drank half the can and then poured it out. I took 2 sips of the creamsicle one and threw it down my sink, and now I'm worried that my sink is gonna have to deal with that beer.
Hey, look, Granville Island's worse than Grain to Glass. Would you take a look at that, Granville Island? You bunch of idiots.
And you know what? People like it, and that's fine. That's like the Jordan thing with the silver cans at Sucrum. But grain to sink, man, that stuff, I can't drink that without getting a headache instantly.
This is my favorite. My second favorite. I prefer their Monday Morn. That's a very solid APA. The Walter Malone is probably 4th of their.
I will give the Walter Malone credit. It does taste like watermelon.
Thank
And
you.
see, that's where
Am
they
I
lose
asking
me. I'm
for
not a big
much
watermelon
or
guy.
not?
So.
Oh, before we keep going, Jordan, do you know what your mom spilled the beans on at your birthday party? Matt, you're going to love this.
Yes.
I have Jordan's top 3 fruits.
Oh, I was sitting there, but I was too drunk to remember. Can
That's
you please
true.
tell me?
I remember them.
Number one, bananas.
Yep, correct.
Number 2, if I remember correctly, is strawberries.
No, you're wrong.
No? What was
Number 2 is pineapple.
Pineapple.
Number
and then
3 is guava.
is guava.
4
And
is strawberry. 5
the
is
look
blueberries.
his mom gave me when he said guava, she was like, I've never even seen a guava.
This Janet.
Okay, I do remember this
When
conversation.
we go to the Caribbean, Janet just spends all day chilling in the pool, sipping on drinks.
I want to
mean-
go to the Caribbean with your mom because that
Yeah,
sounds fantastic.
That's kind of what we all do, but I just sneak away to have a coconut. Is a coconut a fruit? Because if that's the case,
I think it's a nut.
I think it might be a fruit.
is that
think
why
that's
it's not
wrong.
a cocoa fruit?
Oh,
This will be the
Yeah.
last episode of Bros, Bumps, and Beers.
Oh,
There
I
it
thought
is.
that
Oh, God. And Jordan, you're up next, buddy. What are you drinking?
Okay, I'm excited this week.
Oh,
I
he's
really
excited.
am. This is
I'm excited
probably
for
the
this, actually.
smallest brewery we've done out of Winnipeg. And I don't even know if it's brewery because this is by Boyz, okay? Now, Boyz is a honey creator, but they've also dived into making wines and meads. Now, I love myself a good mead.
I
Most
have a question.
Sure.
What is it? What is a mead?
yes,
So
I
a
agree.
mead is typically, I don't know like the true notes of it, but it's kind of like an old school brew. It's typically made with honey and other things of that ilk. Sometimes you'll get lemon, but it's typically like a lot of honey and a little bit of citrus and a lot of alcohol. So for example, like Brazen Hall had a mead for a while, and the folks out at Rebellion, shout out Regina, make a mead. Here's why I love them. 14% alcohol,
Holy shit.
and it's sweet. Okay. And
That's
it's-
14%. That beer is 14%.
This one's not, but the 5 I have in my fridge from Rebellion are 14%. So as you can imagine, I get myself good and buckled with two things I love, which is alcohol and sweets. Now, they have 2 beers right now. They have their regular one, which I will say I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. I give it a 4 out of 5 on Untapped. It is a dessert beer. You drink, it's the sweetest beer I've ever had. It is amazing. Now I'm drinking tonight though, the Staycation. This is their mead with a touch of lime. So it's a little more of an easy drinking mead.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
It is sweet with a touch of lime. It has very little CO2, so it's smooth. It is incredible.
Is it thick?
No, it's
Ooh.
like, look at, if you can see it in the
Oh,
glass.
wow.
Oh, wow.
Nothing in it.
Looks
Boys,
like a cider. Looks like
I
a
gotta
cider.
tell you, these guys may have figured something out because I'm sipping this and it's sweet, but not too sweet. You can taste the lime. It's like if someone made Corona good. It's very impressive.
Not the virus, right? Not the
Yeah,
virus.
no, we're talking about the beer.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, good time in there. I'm actually going to give this, because it's not as sweet as their original, this is going to get a 4.25. Like, this is really good.
Is that your
so
highest rating on Untapped?
No, I have 2 4.5s, but this is one of the best. I love meads, and this continues the tradition. Like, I'm buzzing, and at the same time, I feel like I could drink 6 of these before I stand up. They're incredible. So that's all I'm going to say about
Stand
that.
up and fall down by the sounds of it.
Go out to Boyz in Oak Bluff or pop into the queue to get a whole rack. But beyond that, Matt, with 8 minutes to go before Zoom runs out, can you
Pat.
give us your?
Be Pat.
Oh, is
I
it
already-
Pat? Matt, tell us
Pat.
about your beer again. Go ahead,
Oh,
Pat, go ahead.
I went with. I've actually never tried this beer. It's the first time I tried it. It's from
Your
Brazen
crotch tried
Hall.
it too, eh?
Yeah, sure did. Brazen Hall Brewing Company there on Pembina. You know what? I will plead ignorance. I did not know they brewed beer there. I thought it was just the restaurant. They had another location for the brewery. I learned something new today. Hello. I'm
The
actually
food
going
is
there.
Fantastic.
I'm going there this week for dinner.
Get the
I'm-
burnt ends and
Mm.
get the beef rib.
And get the deep fried cauliflower.
You know,
Delicious.
you know, guys, don't tell me how to live my life. Okay, thank you.
Okay, then be wrong.
Okay, fraud. So, anyways, I took the Tropical Staycation, which is a Nordic. Who's ready for this word? Vec I'm gonna say the K before the V is silence.
Nailed it. You
It is a
nailed
pale ale. Let's call it a Nordic pale ale. Let's call it that. Taking a sip.
No, I prefer the other part. I prefer the other one.
Okay, well, this is my review. So it says there it's got this they said mango and pineapple. I don't taste any mango.
Criminal.
And
Criminal.
it kind of upsets me. I taste some pineapple. I'm not a pineapple guy, and I'm actually enjoying it.
That's
So
why you
don't get me
taste
wrong.
pineapple, because you're not a pineapple guy.
Yeah, and you know what? And they said it's a little touch of cream, which, you know what? Weirdly enough, I can taste it. I can taste a little bit of the creaminess to it. It's really easy drinking, for a pale ale. I was pretty
Pat,
impressed how it quality.
That's interesting you like it, because pineapple is extremely acidic, and that's going to cut almost anything. Like, that's why it's such a great mixed drink addition,
you know what?
pineapple juice. So, like,
You know
why they put mango in it, I don't really understand.
You take a couple more sips, and you can taste a little bit of the mango.
I guess maybe you're trying to thin out the pineapple acidity, but I don't know.
The cream will give it a little bit more of a. Is it a little thick in your mouth a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, so it'll up the mouthfeel, but the pineapple will cut through that.
No, I'm really enjoying it. This is
That's
something
called culinary science.
Yeah, it's a 5.8 alcohol. It's, you know what? It's pretty good. I'm actually kind of impressed. I like this. I was kind of sketching out a little bit. I didn't know if I was going to like it or not. It's not grain to glass, thank God.
Wow.
So go check them out on Pemina. I would highly suggest the Tropical Staycation on Untapped. You can follow me at Pat Gagne. I'm going to give this one a 3.75. It's a pretty solid beer. Pretty solid effort.
Number.
Yeah.
Pretty solid number.
It's pretty good. I would highly recommend it. So hopefully next time I drink it, I don't spill half of it on my crotch. But anyways, I drank the Tropical
You could bring your
Staycation.
pants out and just crush a little bit more if you want.
Yep.
That'd be interesting. So I had the Tropical Staycation. I gave it 3.75 on Untapped. Are you gonna interrupt me the whole time?
Yeah, I am, because there's so many jokes about you.
Pat, hurry up! I want to do the beer news.
Yeah, so we have. So I did the Tropical Staycation. I gave it 3.75 on Untapped. Jordan gave his
4.25. It is good.
God.
Matt gave Grain to Sink. What'd you give it?
I gave the in a nutshell, peanut butter porter from Grain to Glass a 3.75.
And now we will throw it to Jordan with the Winnipeg beer news of the week.
Ooh, I like that.
I'm glad we're doing this before I have the 3 staycations I still have in my fridge tonight, because that might happen. This is an easy one this week, boys. This weekend, Kilter finally opens up their tap room.
Let's go.
Aside from having the current award for sketchiest brewery, because you go there and this, like, if their beer is
in the middle of St. Boniface.
It's insane. It's next to a factory. The sign is spray painted on cardboard.
No, they have a new sign now.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah.
It does look like, if their beer wasn't so good, you would definitely think you were getting swindled, but it's incredible. So this weekend they're opening a brewery, their tap room. We have tickets, and we're going to be there enjoying ourselves and having a great time. So hopefully we see you there.
Apparently they have kept kegs of everything they've released so far.
Ooh.
So Space Jam, let's go, baby.
Space
We
Jam
have
and
2
Slurpee.
hours. We have 2 hours. So how much Space Jam can Jordan drink in 2 hours is probably the question we're going to get answered on Saturday night. Someone will need to drive me home, please and thank you.
Follow us on Instagram. I will count on Instagram in the story how many Space Jam Jordan can drink in 2 hours.
No.
That Instagram catching fire, eh, Maddie? Catching fire, that Instagram.
Catching fire a little bit.
It's getting over.
All right, so when we come back, we will, for the love of God, look over the horror show at Extreme Rules, the worst name for a pay-per-view you've ever heard. So when we come back, we'll talk about that a little bit.
Oh, Michael, this is going to be fun to watch.
Ooh, we are back. We are back with a vengeance. Ladies and gentlemen, my pants are now dry. I no longer have any beer on my crotch. So here we are. So over the weekend, Jordan's favorite pay-per-view happened, the horror show at Extreme Rules. I didn't know that was the actual name of the pay-per-view. I just thought it was Extreme Rules, the horror show. But here we are.
Why would you do horror shows in July, right? It's not like there's a month kind of dedicated to the idea
it had a very Halloween-y vibe to it, and it was kind of weird.
Really? You thought so?
Yeah, the whole Bray Wyatt stuff was all very Halloween-y.
Oh, okay. You guys are gonna crap all over this Bray Wyatt stuff. We're gonna have to talk about this.
I might
we
not.
will.
I might not. Hold on. You don't
I
know.
know. I'm not going to crap over all of it. I'm not going to crap over all of it.
I know what I am crapping on. I'm real loaded up for it. So
Yeah, but so yeah, it happened at the Performance Center. I guess we can just jump right into it. What was your favorite match of the night?
Jordan, go ahead.
the first one.
Yeah, I would agree.
That was
You
a
know
good
what?
match.
I mean, you put 4 solid workers in a match and don't complicate it too much. And
It
some
was
great spots. I love the finish. I thought
Yep.
that was awesome. I love the idea of Kofi going for the super high risk move that cost them the match, really, in my opinion, like a hurricane run off the top.
You know what I loved
insane.
about that match? It was a tables match.
How
But it
strong
felt like-
Cesaro is.
Oh, did you know he works out with John Cena?
Doesn't John Cena? So ergo, doesn't Cesaro work out with Sheamus?
Yes.
Oh
Mhm.
wow!
Yeah.
Everything's connected, and how are they connected to Kevin Bacon? All of these things go around in my head.
What?
The
What
6
just happened?
degrees, of,
You
6
never heard
degrees
that?
of Kevin Bacon.
Oh, you ever heard of that game, Matt?
Oh, here
No,
we
I've never heard of that game.
go.
Oh,
All
this
right,
guy.
that's what we're doing the next time we see
So-
Matt. This at Kilter, it's going to be all about Kevin Bacon.
So, anyways, it was the tables portion, the stip of it didn't overtake that match, and that's what I really appreciate about it. It felt like a wrestling match where there's no pin, you just put a guy through the table, and they kind of built to that the whole match. So that was my favorite match. I'm with Jordan on that one. Matt, good God, what was your favorite match?
Okay, so bear with me here. The best wrestling match on the card, if you take away the finish, was Sasha Banks against
Okay.
Asuka.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's
you know
fair.
what? Yeah,
I
can
watched
take
that. I watched that whole match. So I turned this pay-per-view on. I turned it on a little bit late, and I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna fast forward most of this." I already knew most of the results. I get the notifications to my phone. I ended up watching the whole first match, that whole tag match.
Yeah, it's really great.
Read online that apparently the pre-show match was a banger.
That was
Which I'm gonna
Owens
have
I
and
went back and watched it. I didn't
Was it-
think
was it good?
that good.
was
Yeah.
it worth it?
Yeah, because it wasn't overly complicated. It was just
Yeah, exactly. It was just, but I got to that match and I'm like, ooh, this one's a little long. And I found myself not fast forwarding it. I watched the whole match and then they got to that terrible finish. Oh, was that bad? If Sasha Banks versus Bayley does not come out of that, I
No,
didn't like the finish.
I didn't
The match was
hate
fantastic.
I didn't hate the finish because I just know it's going to lead to a rematch on Raw between Sasha Banks and Asuka, and I'm all for that. I think they really have good chemistry together.
But they're not going
I
to get
think
the
it-
time. They're going to
I think
commercial break.
you could have just done a different finish. That finish felt clunky and weird.
I miss crazy Nikki Cross.
She is still kind of crazy.
No, but like properly crazy. Like when she was running off the ropes and she yelled "Let's play" at what's her name? Red-haired lady. Why am I blanking on this?
Uh,
Shit.
Becky?
Becky. Jesus, thank you. That's too many beers. One of my favorite gifts of all time is her just saying "Play with Nikki" over and over.
She's Luna Vachon, man. She's that hot.
I mean,
I would say I would elevate her above Luna Vachon.
yeah, I'm not trying to get Sammy Guevara, so yeah,
Whoa.
Nikki Cross is great. Oh, I'm not going to make that mistake. What an idiot that guy is. Nikki Cross is a wonderful
You're
lady,
all right.
and I'm
That
sure
what a
It's
moron.
super dumb. If you don't know what you're talking about, look it up. It's pretty bad. But anyway, so what I thought coming in is I talked to Matt earlier in the week. I'm like, oh, cool, we're getting 2 cinematic matches because I thought that stupid eye for an eye match was going to be cinematic,
I'm
and
actually
it
glad
wasn't.
it wasn't cinematic.
that was the worst thing I've seen in wrestling in a long time.
It made no sense. It
Hear
was
me
so
out here.
dumb.
Hear me out.
Oh God.
You
It
have
looked
Seth
like
Rollins-
a lollipop on his eye.
Oh, the finish and the whole concept was dumb. The stipulation was dumb and handcuffed the performers. But Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio are probably the only 2 that could have made that watchable.
It was.
That was at least
I totally
watchable.
disagree with you. I totally disagree with you. It sucked. It was so
It
stupid.
was one of the. It was like, listen, it's still pro wrestling. Like you can only suspend disbelief so far. Like I don't mind there being mythic characters or whatever, but we know someone's not losing an eye. Like don't spit in the face of your audience to make it seem
Yeah,
like
like
they're
it's-
supposed to believe
If
that.
that match was just a straight no DQ match, that would have been match of the night.
Probably would have been
hands down.
great.
Oh,
and a better finish. Yeah, but they decided to go that direction and it sucked. So
it was stupid. And now how are you going to explain? Like they tried doing a backstage explanation that, Ray, they're reattaching his eye. It should be okay. It's dumb. It's dumb.
But it's pro wrestling. You got to try stuff. They tried it. It was
You don't
dumb.
have to try that, though.
Dumb.
You don't have to
It was dumb.
try that.
But there was probably people who, when someone was like, hey, let's put two guys inside a cage and see what happens, I'm sure someone was like, that's dumb.
Yeah, but nobody is ever going to do another eye
Can
for
I
eye
tell
match.
you also why the WWE continues to not be able to figure this out? Okay, so Charlie Caruso after gives a medical update on Rey Mysterio. And she said that if the damage to his eye was minimal, it could heal and he could regain his vision. If that's the case, they just shot the scene where his entire eye is out of his socket.
If the
that looked
optic
like
nerve.
So wait,
it looked like Game of Thrones, except if the guy did one eye on the Viper.
So is Rey Mysterio now gonna look like Shawn Michaels?
Oh. You're gonna need to contact Michael Bisping's eye guy. There's my MMA reference.
But you know what? Before we get to the last cinematic match, I gotta say, I'm starting to get to that point where wrestling is becoming more and more unwatchable for me because there's no crowd. I need a crowd.
I think they're doing a better job with the whole performance center and like the NXT guys.
If you compare,
SmackDown's horrible with it.
If you compare,
SmackDown are horrible, but that was good last night.
If you compare AEW and WWE, the way they use crowd, AEW does it right. It feels like at least a little bit of a crowd. It feels like an indie crowd.
Well, they use them for spots. Like the crowd isn't a crowd; it's other wrestlers, and they use them for purposes, right?
I really like the plexiglass, though. I feel like it adds a nice dimension to what you can do outside the ring.
If you're gonna go plexiglass, I feel like it has to be more hardcore. It almost becomes like it needs to be, the product almost needs to be more violent because the plexiglass lends itself to speed and violence.
I understand what you're saying. Before we get to the cinematic match. Go ahead, Jordan.
No, you go. We'll see.
Look at the cinematic match. We don't talk about him very often, if at all. But Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler, they put on a damn good match. I feel like Drew McIntyre since WrestleMania has just been steady Eddie, carrying that championship.
But that's
wrestling
the problem,
good matches.
They're not booking him like a champion.
Second best match of the night. Love the stipulation. I thought
the stipulation was awesome. The best stipulation of the night.
And I never get tired of watching Claymores. I think it might be the most devastating looking finisher in the
that or the Kinshasa.
Kinshasa.
Yeah, one of the many shining wizard offshoots. Cool.
But you know what? If we go to Drew McIntyre, I love Drew McIntyre. I'm a big Drew McIntyre fan. But the way we talk about him, it's like, oh yeah, Drew McIntyre was on the card. They need to elevate him a little bit.
They can't without a crowd. He needs a crowd.
The Royal Rumble was a good example of what a crowd can do for him.
Do they need him to come back with a crowd and beat Brock Lesnar for him to be solidified as the guy?
I don't think so, but I think you'll see if he can hang on to the championship till a crowd comes back. I think you're going to see Drew McIntyre for what he really is, because Drew McIntyre looks.
I think what they should do with Drew is
like $1 million.
Have him drop the title in a shady way. I think they need to take it off him and give him a break in a little while. I think crowds aren't going to be till 2021. So don't make him carry the company this long, right? Sit him down, give it back to Seth, make it be shady. Seth, I think, is doing from what I read, because I don't watch the shows, is doing a pretty good job with his gimmick. But I think Drew's going to get stale because of the lack of a crowd. So I think you let him run and then you protect him when he starts to wobble. I
need Roman Reigns against Drew McIntyre. I need that.
Yeah, and I need Roman Reigns back. I need Roman. You know what I would love?
You're not going to see Roman Reigns back till 2021.
What I would love is to see Vince change his course and see Drew as his golden goose and be okay with Roman going bad.
And I think Vince is petty.
Roman going bad changes wrestling.
You know what it is? I think Vince is petty enough where he's going to go, Roman bailed on me during this horrible time for us, and Drew was there every time. So he's going to just be like, Roman's going to turn heel and he's going to lose to Drew McIntyre.
And you know what?
I'm okay with that as long as we get it.
If I'm Roman, though, I'd be like, oh no, Vince, that's terrible. Don't do that sarcastically, because Roman coming back and going you know, like the WWE didn't give a shit I was home. I had cancer and they didn't fucking care. You know, like I got trashed. Yeah, I would love to see him do that. And then he has to go on a murder spree. It's got to be face after face after face.
And like ruthless.
Ruthlessly. I'm talking spears, repeated punching. It's got to be gross. And yeah, and he needs a stable. You have to put him in a stable as he's doing it. And I think, you know, you rally up the Usos, you put them.
The family, let's go.
Yeah, I think
the bloodline or whatever they call it.
I hope it's good. Yeah, I hope that's what it is because
Jordan, you're talking. This is 2 weeks in a row you talk like this to me, and I really like it.
Whoa. Do you guys want a moment together?
Goes back to.
Shut up! You're an idiot.
All right, let's talk.
So Matt, I want to hear you defend this whole match.
Okay, so we're talking about the cinematic match,
the swamp fight.
The swamp fight. First of all, realize that it was never a match. It was a fight. It was right in the name. It was a swamp fight. There was never supposed to be a winner or a loser.
Oh, there was a couple losers in this one.
I'm going to ignore that comment.
Don't talk to Matt like that.
Thank you, Jordan. Purely a story advancement angle. This was like 3 weeks of promos in a 20-minute segment. Also, before I continue on this specific one, these cinematic matches are all becoming like boss fights in video games, and I love it.
I'm going to need you to explain that.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I think I know what you're saying, but explain to me what you're thinking.
So, for example, last night, Braun rolls up in his truck, he gets up, and Bray's sitting in the rocking chair just staring at him. That's like the beginning of a segment in a video game, right before you start fighting all his henchmen to try to get to his like swamp where you're going to fight him. And even I started thinking about it, and I went back to the Street Profits. The Street Profits and the Viking Raiders, that was like a video game where you're 4 players trying to get towards a common goal.
It's like one of those video games I wouldn't buy. Oh, okay, I get it now. Yeah.
I'd buy it because I'd buy it.
You do, that's true.
What they were going for in this match was like a B horror movie vibe, and I think they accomplished that. It was like Texas Chainsaw Massacre meets like a swamp thing, or.
So was the ending, Matt? That's the one thing I didn't really like. I feel like I didn't get a clear understanding of like what they were trying to accomplish.
He drowned him. He's dead.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Like, was it as easy as like the old Bray is completely dead and now he's the Fiend, or like?
So, I think WWE or Bray Wyatt, because it's all Bray Wyatt. He's been planting seeds, like even when he first debuted the Fiend, where he's like this split personality and he's fighting against it. Where he's fighting the Fiend. So he's used these 2 other personalities. I
think that's awesome.
It's great. He's used these 2 other personalities to suppress the Fiend because he doesn't like the way the Fiend acts.
Oh my God.
And
Matt, you just explained something in wrestling to me that I didn't understand. That's never happened before.
You're doing good, Matt. Keep going.
You're broken clocks right twice a day.
I'm just saying he's right. I was being nice. Jordan, you're fraud. Shut up.
You're fraud.
So now, he couldn't beat Braun Strowman in this first match or this swamp fight with his 2 other personalities, and the Fiend finally reared his head coming out of the swamp, drawing Braun into the swamp and emerging, and now it's like, no, the Fiend is here, and the Fiend is going to finish the job.
I can respect that whole storytelling aspect of it, but it was still stupid.
Wait, so he tried to beat Braun with 2 of his personalities?
Yes. Yeah.
Has he tried with Husky yet?
No, because Husky hair sucks.
Okay, because I thought that would be the guy.
What a random freaking reference.
Okay, I'm just saying, if you want to beat Braun, Husky Harris is the strongest of all.
Okay, so let's...
The fact that you just dropped a Husky Harris reference makes me want to throw up like Seth Rollins did in the Eye for an Eye.
Matt, so very quickly, let's just go. Are we going to sip it, chug it, or cheers it? Very quickly.
I'm going to sip it. Other than the finishes, that was a decent card.
I watched the whole thing. I enjoyed it. I'll give it a sip. It was good.
I regretfully watched it in the morning because I was told I should. I'll sip it. Yeah.
Yeah, you will.
I'll throw a couple matches into the sink. I'll grade the sink it, if you will. But there are a couple on there
Boyz.
I actually really liked, which, you know, I mean, here's the thing, like WWE is still full of amazing talent. It's still the most loaded roster in wrestling. It's just the people controlling what they do are noodles. So, you know, like you're still going to get great matches. You're just going to get finishes where someone has a lollipop over his eye. You know, it's just, yeah.
So, Matt, you wanted to touch very quickly on Slammiversary from Impact for some reason. So
I can't believe.
Speaking of shit I don't watch.
Speaking about shit I don't care about.
I never, if you had asked me any time in the last, I don't know, 5 years, if I would have been refreshing the feed on my social medias to see what was going on at an Impact show, I'd have been like, you're out of your mind.
So what was it about it that caught you?
Okay, so let's go through this. So Heath Slater debuted. Who cares?
But you can go through all these guys, and yes, a bunch of WWE mid-carders are basically debuting.
So yeah, so Jordan, let's go through them. Let's go through the list very quickly.
Let him go, Matt.
You
got it. Okay, sorry.
Heath Slater debuted, and who cares? He's like a lower card guy. The Good Brothers, who are Gallows and Anderson, they're always solid. Sure, passable.
What's been more entertaining is their pretty much airing of grievances on social media the last few
After
weeks.
that, the Motor City Machine Guns came back. If I cared about TNA history, I would care if they came back. Are they cool looking? Sure, but who cares? And the last one, they announced that EC3 is coming back to Impact.
That's not
EC3,
the last one.
EC3, okay, you can add one after. EC3 is a stud. I loved EC3. He was misused, but whatever. Matt, who did I miss? I missed a couple of
No Way Jose will be debuting as, I can't remember his name. Okay, yeah, whatever. And also Eric Young came back.
Thank you, Canada's very own.
Yeah,
that's true. He's an Impact staple. For them, that's a big deal.
The fact that Impact brought in all these guys and made themselves a big deal just got me thinking of one question. Them capitalizing on the fact that WWE let all these guys go and then they grabbed a bunch of them. Does this provide, so let's say you're AEW fans.
Mm-hmm.
You're people who just watch AEW.
Which I am, yes.
Okay. Will
And
they
NXT.
now, and NXT, let's say those guys now take Impact and maybe casually start watching Impact. Has Impact become a supplement to that where it's different enough from WWE that it's going to become more relevant?
You know why? You know why it'll always be trouble to get people to watch Impact? Where do you find Impact? Where do you watch it?
Yeah. Game
That's the
TV in
problem.
Canada.
I think my issue with Impact is it's always been it's trying to be WWE. I think what makes AEW special is it's not trying to be WWE, and that's what makes it good. I feel like Impact is just trying to be WWE, which is not a fight anyone's going to win because they don't have the manpower. But
So if they go a completely different direction, could that make them somewhat
I
relevant?
would be curious. I'd watch it if they. I don't know what
Gotta be
different
different.
direction you'd go.
Yeah, you got to go really off the wall.
Completely catch style.
No,
I want
don't do that.
thatchers everywhere.
Please
Damn
no.
it. Okay, that's
Walter
just me.
chopping people till they bleed.
I would watch the shit out of that every single week. Yeah, no, I think it's, and you know what, you just said the Walter thing. You just said the Walter thing, and I lost my train of thought. I was going to say something else about Impact, and that blanked my brain. Oh, okay. Here's what I was going to say. There's no such thing as, if you think about any sort of competitive business, that breeds growth, right? And I think the problem I have had with wrestling for a long time is that WWE has been a monopoly. And to the casual North American viewer, like, yeah, if you're a big fan or you like a different type of wrestling, you can watch New Japan. Mm-hmm. NXT is offered something a little different. Wrestling was at its peak, in my opinion, when WWE and WCW were swinging hammers at each other.
Duh.
Anybody disagrees with you, they're an idiot.
And so
they're dumb.
I'm a big proponent of market competition. And so bring on anybody who can put out an interesting product.
So, I guess we can leave it there. And ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we're going to do possibly, I would say, the greatest pay-per-view of all time, Matt?
Oh, no. The pay-per-view is not good, but it's from one great city.
Yeah.
Is it
Winnipeg.
the greatest pay-per-view ever in Winnipeg?
That it is. That is for
yes,
sure what it
I'd
is.
say it's top 2 at least. I'm sure.
What was the other one?
I don't know. Is there another one?
There is not another
I'll
one.
Wikipedia this.
So
Hold on.
when we come back, we will do In Your House 4 Great White North live from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada.
This is dangerous, JR. This is real dangerous.
All right, and we're back for the main event of the podcast, our retro pay-per-view review. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Oh, I think
What you
I
got there,
blew my-
Jordo?
I
What
blew
you
my
got there?
shoulder out. Man, okay, this, I almost wish you just follow me on Tapped. I'm going to take a picture so you can see it. That's JSco55. It is one of the coolest cans I've ever seen. This
Terrifying.
was gifted to me by a good brother named Paul Nelson. And it is, I think,
Stumps.
oh, well, no, Stumps is the greatest beer of all time, Stumpy. But also, Dead Guy Ale. It's a robust malt. I won't go into it, but from the can, it looks like I might just like see the Grim Reaper when I've done it. So it's pretty sick.
There it is. What you got? What you got there?
That's got to be a nonsense just from looking at
Oh,
it.
oh, oh.
Oh, no.
Wait, do you hear it? Do you hear it?
Too much air. Too much air. 2 crows, baby. Let's go.
2 crows, eh? Okay.
Oh, good. When was it last best before? 10 months ago?
Let's see.
Look at the head on that thing.
Yeah, that was a bad pour. No, this is 2020. This is
Oh,
me.
good. It's not 2 Crows' fault. The Winnipeg got a leftover bag.
Gentlemen, let's get
Sorry, we
back
should
on track here.
focus. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. So,
You know,
we are reviewing In Your House 4 with the most creative name of all time, the Great White North. Why is it called the Great White North? Because it is from our hometown, or me and Matt's hometown, Jordan's a fraud, Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada.
I'm just from a
I'd
real
say-
city.
Jordan is
Oh, don't.
an adopted Winnipegger.
No,
I
I'm not.
am an
No.
adopt- I am. Go blue. I mean, I didn't know what a fucking genie's cake was, but like, it's the baby steps. I still
Okay,
mix up.
you're not missing anything. You're not
Yeah,
I
missing
it's
mix up
okay.
anything.
Canada and
it's-
Portage all the time. Someone says places in the city to me, they're like, "Oh yeah, that's Southdale," and I'm just
Hey,
like,
Do you guys
"Yeah,
remember?
that's
Do you guys remember
Southdale."
before we started recording when Jordan's like, "God, guys, this is gonna be a super long episode," and then he doesn't shut the hell up.
You know what, Pat? Go spill a beer on your wiener. All right?
Can I just tee this up already?
Dial it up, dumbass.
All right. So, In Your House 4, Great White North, happened on October 22nd, 1995, which means Pat was 5,
Jordan
I
was 2.
was 8, and
I was
Jordan was
4.
Jordan was 4.
Pygmy some bitch.
From Winnipeg, Manitoba.
I don't know
at
what that
the-
means. It just sounds cool to say. Sorry,
Ah.
You're
sorry.
gonna be like this the whole time, Jordan. You need
No.
to watch it. You need to watch it.
It's beer 5, all right? Come on.
At the most creatively named arena in the history of arenas, the Winnipeg Arena.
That place was
And there
a
was
total.
hold on.
Oh,
You
sorry,
can come-
sorry.
There's 10,339 people.
Bullshit. There's
Is
no
that
way there was that many
disputed?
people.
I feel like it's disputed.
It
They're all
has to be.
disputed.
There's
We
no
should
way there was
move it-
10,000
We should
people in
move
there.
it to the Coliseum in LA.
So
We should.
Hey, so just saying, first of all, 2 things jumped out at me when this first started. The Winnipeg Arena was a total piece of shit. Like it was
a
awful.
dump. It was a
such a
dump.
dump. It was not
You're
ready
too
for
young
any-
to remember it, really.
but I
it
see
was a dump.
pictures. It's just terrible. And the second thing, you know what I did the whole show, Matt?
What?
I was looking in the crowd like Mike Gagne and be like, "Do I know anybody?" Like every time we watch a Jets game on TV, he goes, "Did you see anybody we know?"
I'm surprised we do. I'm surprised though
How
that
did you
when you
not?
watch
It's Winnipeg.
I
Yeah.
know.
You go to the
Legit.
grocery store and you have to stop to talk to 3 people. You know.
But Matt, there was one person we did recognize in the front row the whole night.
Winnipeg's own Chris Walby.
You're telling me in 1995, the only celebrity we could get in the front row was Chris freaking Walby?
Was he
That was a
still
big deal.
banging the table for us to recycle? God, he loves the
Probably.
planet.
Do you guys want to know some city settings
Oh,
for
boy.
1995?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Jordan, you didn't even live here. Pat, you were way too young
Were
to
you
remember.
even a city yet? Was it a town?
Jordan wasn't even born yet.
Jordan, it was. You know what? We were a quaint little city.
Was there
All right.
anything south of Waverly?
So, anyways, no, there wasn't. There really
No.
wasn't.
No, I know
It was
that. for a
farther
fact.
afield.
There actually wasn't.
I
There
know,
really
my
wasn't.
family was here, and they lived right before Waverly because that's as far as it went at the time.
So, fun fact: On October 25th, 3 days later, which would have been probably a Tuesday, there was the municipal election here in Winnipeg.
Who won the mayor? Who was the mayor?
She
won.
Oh, wow, Pat. Wow.
She won her second term.
Who was it? I don't know this.
I didn't even know we had a female mayor. She was in office for 8 years.
Love it. Who was it?
Susan Thompson. She
Don't
was
know
the
who
mayor
that is.
She was the mayor during the flood of '97. Didn't know that.
Wow. I just learned something. It's Nunavut Day all over again.
Hey, Matt, what day did you say it was?
October 25th.
Yeah. What day of the week?
I said like a Tuesday, maybe?
It's a Wednesday.
Dumbass.
Thank God I'm here to correct these mistakes.
Question marks? On April 25th, there was a provincial election. So before this, so there was 2 elections that year. The Progressive Conservative Party won again. So Gary Philman was again our premier. This was the last time the PCs would win until just recently. And the next winner would begin the NDP's reign. Pat, little quick trivia. You're the history guy. Who was the premier for the NDP?
I just want to say something before
I care
I
about
answer this question.
More than Nunavut Day, though. So that's
I would just 2 things. 1 thing, this is not better than Nunavut Day, and 2, this is absolutely the last episode of Bros, Bumps, and Beers because nobody gives a shit about anything you're saying right now.
You just don't know the answer. You don't know the answer.
I don't
Why
care
are they
about the
all
answer.
called in your house if they're held in arenas?
All right, moving on.
Who was it,
It was
Matt?
Gary Dewar.
Okay, he's cool. I like him. He's a good guy.
He's a great name, Gary Dewar.
Yeah, I'm sure he got stuff done.
All right,
He
so
was a doer.
are we almost done with this?
Yeah, I got 3 more.
Jesus.
So,
3.
so this is a good one. This is a good one.
This is worse than Nunavut. Just saying. I'd crush Nunavut.
Did you guys know that Keanu Reeves, fresh off the movie
Seriously.
Speed, came to Winnipeg and played Hamlet in the Manitoba Theatre Center's production of Hamlet?
You know what I wouldn't go see?
awesome.
You know what I wouldn't go see? Keanu Reeves' Hamlet. There was no way.
No, listen. No. This is the backwards entertaining because yes, if you need someone who needs to play high level drama with Keanu Reeves' range, which is like a centimeter. That is exactly something I want to see. And by the way, thank God that they gave him John Wick because, like, talk about finding the perfect actor.
Oh,
to play the perfect
he's great at John Wick.
Do you remember when Neo played John Wick? That was cool.
Wow.
Okay, 2 more.
2 more.
Damn it.
And these are sports ones. So the Winnipeg Blue Bombers
Go Blue.
were 7-11 that year.
Of
They
course,
probably still made the playoffs. So
They
over which Rough Riders team?
They lost in the South semifinal to the
South of where?
To the Baltimore Stallions. This is when there was American teams.
They were in the South?
No, they weren't. But they were the
It's over.
first ever team to utilize the crossover rule.
I love and hate that league so much at the same
okay,
time.
next one. Let's get the last one out of the way here.
And finally, the Winnipeg Jets 1.0. This is their final season. They started their final season.
Oh yeah, before Winnipeg didn't have a hockey team anymore because they couldn't support it.
Yeah, there's a team in Toronto, but they don't do shit, so it doesn't matter.
We existed.
That's about it, though.
I'm pretty sure the team in Toronto has won as many championships as the Jets have in their
Get him,
entire
Matt.
existence.
Get him, Matt.
You know what? I don't want to hear from the Atlanta Thrashers 2.0 right now, okay? And all your greatest players are Phoenix.
Jets 1.0
Coyotes.
were starting their last season before they moved to Phoenix. They went 36-40-6, good enough for 8th in the West, and they lost to the Detroit Red Wings in the first round of the playoffs. And that, ladies and gentlemen, paints the picture of Winnipeg in 1995.
So now we're going to take those facts. We're going to talk about this wrestling event that has nothing to do with any of those facts.
The only WWE pay-per-view ever to be in Winnipeg.
Probably will be the only one ever.
Which is garbage.
I think we might get one. I think we could get one.
How?
We could fill that place. We could fill up the MTS or
I do
now.
think we could. Yes, like we could. I don't know if we could
almost
fill it
filled it
up
for
with
Raw.
what they want to charge.
Yeah, I'd pay it. I don't care.
UFC came here.
People would pay it.
Yeah, actually guilty. I paid for very good tickets on multiple occasions for the
Okay, so anyways, moving on.
Guys,
First
this is
match
feeling
on the card.
contentious, okay? Can we just get back to loving each other?
Oh, there's going to be lots of contention. There's
Oh,
already
Jesus.
been lots of contention.
First match of the night, we have Fatu, who is, his gimmick is he's going to make a
Excuse you.
difference. I don't know why that's funny.
I missed that. I don't even know what we're laughing about.
Okay, anyways, so his gimmick at the time was that he was going to make a difference. I don't know what that means. And he was up against Triple
And he
H,
smelled
Hunter
the
Hearst Helmsley.
Apparently he smelled. Hunter Hearst Helmsley kept saying he smelled.
Okay, well, whatever. My favorite part of this match, the match was meh, but the best part was Jerry Lawler during the broadcast says, "Why am I in Winnipeg?" And Vince McMahon responds with, "This is the World Wrestling Federation."
As if they can go anywhere on the
I
world.
guess.
That
I guess.
makes sense.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, this, Matt, you know what? This is a pretty solid match. You know what I compare this match
It was.
to? Tonka against Bam Bam Bigelow.
I
That's
would
pretty
agree.
good.
Why do you like? Is it because you didn't expect much and it was good?
Yeah,
Or like,
yeah. I didn't
Yeah.
expect much, and it was fun to watch. I actually enjoyed it.
Fatu's super athletic.
Like, that's Rikishi, man.
Yeah, Rikishi's super athletic. Like, he does stuff that a big man should not be doing. And Hunter Helmsley's a good worker. Like, Triple H can work. This whole match was about getting the pedigree over, I felt like. And I felt like they did that. They, like, got through, like, the devastation of the pedigree.
Yeah, and you know what? So let's do a quick. Meltzer gave it 2 out of 5 stars. I gave it 2.5 stars. I actually kind of enjoyed this one. And one of my favorite matches on the card, honestly.
I gave it 2.5 as well. I thought it was good. Like, it made sense. It was good. Hunter Helmsley, this gimmick is hilarious, though. Like, the way he talks.
Yeah, was he British
So
or
funny.
something? It was weird.
He was like a British, I don't know. He's from Greenwich, Connecticut.
It's very important that you explain that this match made sense, because everything after this made no sense. So the next match was the Smoking Guns, who are the tag team champions, and they were up against Reza Ramon and the 1-2-3 Kid.
Hey, Pat, did you know
Matt, no, I have a question for you first, Matt.
Okay, yeah, sure.
The 1-2-3 Kid, is he the most confusing talent to ever be over in WWE history?
His pop is like,
I don't get it.
Why did that name work?
well, because he was the kid, but then he pinned somebody. So, he
So
was
yeah,
the
so
1,
so
2,
what
3
happened?
kid.
So what happened was he was trying out nicknames every week. He was like the Bonsai Kid, the Karate Kid, and then he upset Razor Ramon, and he became the 1-2-3 Kid. So it was super. It made no sense, and he didn't
Was
have
he a
a
ninja?
look.
Was he a ninja?
He knew karate or some stupid shit. I don't know. It was terrible.
Did you know also that the Smoking Guns had rodeo scholarships?
Like real ones?
I don't know. That's what Jerry Lawler said.
Oh, okay. I believe it. I believe it. Hey,
I
you know
thought
what?
you were gonna dive deep down the
Hey,
road of
no.
rodeo scholarships,
Look at me.
and I got
Look at
very
me.
intrigued.
Hey, you know what, Matt? You can say whatever you want about me. I love the Smoking Guns.
I did too, and I don't know why.
Like, just cowboys, man. I'm in. Let's go.
Okay, is this the same Bart Gunn that we talked about on the earlier episode?
Yeah, he won the Brawl for All.
Man, so one of them won the Brawl for All, and the other won King of the Ring.
He had asthma.
He did have asthma.
And you're talking about Mr. Ass, not Billy Gunn.
And also, guys, I think we're missing
That's
that
the same
fact
person,
that
isn't it?
Chris
Yes.
Walby went to his seats just before or during this match,
Mhm.
and somebody was sitting in his seats, and it took them a full 5 minutes, I think, for them to sort out whose seat was whose. I'm sorry, Chris Walby walks up to me and goes, "You're sitting in my seat?"
Get
The
up
man
and move.
is enormous. I'm
Get up and
moving. But typical Winnipeg, we're going to be like, no, this is my seat. Get the usher down here. We got to check the tickets.
Yeah.
It's like-
This match wasn't much of anything. I love any Razor Ramon match because I think he throws the best punch in wrestling history.
I think Razor Ramon is maybe one of the biggest misses in wrestling history. Like, how was that guy not a champion?
He didn't have that. He didn't have that for me.
What didn't he have?
That's the thing. You know what? And you can don't get mad. Calm down. I can't even explain it. I just don't even know.
It's
I
almost
didn't
like,
see him as a champion.
It's almost like he's more over now. Like he's almost
Yeah.
more over nostalgically.
Yeah. Like, I just don't.
Is that a word?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
It is
I
now.
think.
Yeah, like, Matt, I don't know what it is, and I agree with you. He probably could have been, but there's just something missing in his presentation. He was more over in WCW when he was.
I even loved his
Big deal.
mic work. I thought his promos were fucking entertaining, man.
Oh, yeah. My
So,
final
yeah.
question for you, Pat. Why would he razor's edge a guy and then tag in his partner so his partner could pin the guy?
I looked at that after, and it was just because like 1, 2, 3 Kid was trying to like I'm a man, you know, I'm trying to be a big boy, and like he was like, sure, kid.
Is it
you're
like
in.
what they're doing with Brody Lee and Cole Cabana right now?
A little bit, yeah.
Ooh, nice comparison.
Thank
Jordan, you're on fire tonight. Eh? You should drink 5 beers more often.
you. I drink 5 beers most nights.
Meltzer gave it 1.5 stars. The Smoking Guns retain, obviously.
No, he gave it 2 3/4, but that's
Oh, did he? I got it wrong. Then I got one. I gave it 1 out of. I gave it 1 out of 5. It sucked. It
Thanks,
was
Pat.
stupid.
I gave
was
it a 2.
stupid.
I gave it
Okay.
a 2. It was okay.
And before we do this WWF hotline, did people actually call this shit?
What a scam.
What was that? Oh, you have to explain that. I don't
You
know.
have to call. You called in, and like people who just wrestled were on the hotline, and it was all recording. And it was just like you'd call it, and you'd be able to talk to the superstars.
It was a 900 number. They made bank.
Like you
on
paid
this
by the
shit.
minute. You paid
That
by the
sounds
minute.
familiar. I call a number like that a couple nights a week, and it's a recording.
Yeah, I've seen those commercials too late night.
Oh, damn.
You guys are on fire tonight. Oh my god.
Also, Pat, did you ever want a life-size cutout? Because I did.
No.
So they have life-size cutouts that they're hawking. They're trying to sell.
Yeah.
And I remember as a kid being like, I want a life-size cutout, but I don't know why.
You know what I love about merch? It's shameless.
Yeah. Hey, like I said in the past, I need a Money in the Bank briefcase. I just need it. I don't know why. I just need it.
There's some companies now, and the first one that comes to my mind is Barstool Sports. If they can put their logo on something, it's on it, and they're selling it. You know, like merch has
And
no
they're going to sell it.
and they'll get to move weight. Merch has no shame, 0.
Which leads us to the next match, which should have been a bigger deal.
And is a big deal because it was Winnipeg.
Yeah, in Winnipeg, would you believe that's the debut of Goldust in the ring?
Yeah,
Cool.
First time he's ever on pay-per-view.
The problem with that match, though, is it was against a re-debuting Marty Jannetty. So you had 2 guys, one guy that you wanted to make super strong, and one that you kind of wanted to. He's back. He should be good. Goldust should have been in a squash match here. Am I wrong, Matt?
Okay, so I got 3 things to say about this match. Number 1, Goldust's black ears, like he painted his ears black, but his face gold. Super weird. Creep me out. I don't get it. Pat, please explain to me why his ears were black.
I actually looked into that, and I don't know.
Okay, good. Cool. Moving on. The commentators kept trying to get over his bizarreness. They kept using the word bizarre, and
They called him the bizarre one.
But
Early
was he that bizarre? Like I don't know. I didn't get it. But again, when Goldust debuted, he creeped me out. Like I was 8 years old. I was like, what is up with this guy? And the last thing I think is this match was booked as an adult. I'm watching this, and someone who I think has a fair share of wrestling knowledge. Pat's laughing, and that's fine. Like you can think I don't have that much wrestling knowledge, but screw you. This match should have been booked very easily, and you said it should have been a squash, but you could have had it against Marty Jannetty and still kept Jannetty somewhat strong. Goldust comes in, he plays mind games with Jannetty. Jannetty gets frustrated. Goldust shows some aggression.
It was a longer match, so it allowed him to kind of show everything he had, kind of thing.
But I think this match, as a 7-8 minute match, as opposed to a 11-minute match,
Yeah.
would have been better. You shave about 3-4 minutes off this match, I think it would have been more effective. I think personally.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, all it did was showed me that it's very hard to say androgynous and very hard to spell androgynous.
Can I give you a little thing about Goldust I found interesting here doing some research?
Finally, doing your job.
So
Shut up! You just went for a pee and made me talk while you went for a pee.
okay,
Yeah,
so
you're sold out.
Here's something
fraud.
that I haven't, so I want to put this off. This is going to be allegedly, because I saw this and I've been trying to get multiple sources because journalism background, I don't want to be off, but I thought this was interesting enough. I'm just going to throw it out there as allegedly. So apparently he says that Vince McMahon called him and offered him the gimmick, and he mentioned the word androgynous several times. That's Vince, said it over and over. And because Dustin wanted a separate identity from his father at the time, he just accepted, but he didn't know what the word androgynous meant. So then he
probably should have looked that one up.
Once he looked it up in the dictionary, and he was like, what did I get myself into? And the best part is he admitted that for the first few months of the gimmick, he was pretty uncomfortable with it. But then at some point, he just muscled up and said, I'm going to run with it. And run with
Thank
it.
God he did.
Yeah.
Run with it.
And made him
bank off that.
Yeah. But this in general was not a great match. Meltzer gave it 1.5. Is that right, Matt?
Yes.
I gave it 1. Didn't really enjoy it.
I gave it 1. I clunked through that one because I was like,
Yeah, it
oh,
was tough.
Goldust debuted, but it was clunky.
Really? You clunked through this one? Because the next one you
know
probably
what?
skipped.
You know what else is clunky? The guys who had to carry Mabel out
Oh, man.
in this next match.
Yeah, so next match is King Mabel because he's fresh off his King of the Ring win against Yokozuna. So I'm going to paint you a picture for this. Mabel is kind of in shape, but still huge, like 500 pounds easy.
Oh, easy.
Against a grossly, scarily overweight Yokozuna.
650, I bet.
Huge. So who thinks they're going to have a good match?
Never mind that. They carried Mabel out on a throne.
Yeah, that was
literally on a platform and a throne.
Yeah, it was.
Why would you do that?
There was nothing to this match. It was bad. It was very clunky. Neither guy could really get anything going. It just wasn't good. Meltzer gave it -2 out of 5. I gave it -1. It was just it hurt me to watch Yokozuna like that because I loved Yokozuna, and he was just so fat at this point. He was so big.
Oh, they
Is
were
that why he
both.
needed 2 managers?
Yes.
Jim Cornette
Well,
and Mr.
no, they
Fuji?
could never. Okay, in all seriousness, he had 2 managers because Fuji was an okay interview but couldn't talk enough, so they gave him Cornette to be his mouthpiece. Fuji was his handler. Fuji traveled with him.
Yeah, Fuji made sure he was all good in the planes.
Because
and
the
stuff.
guy
you're
was
telling me Yokozuna had a manager, and then the manager needed a mouthpiece for the manager?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
That's exactly
Okay,
it.
you guys want to hear a super good Yokozuna story?
Yes, please. I'll
Okay,
take the time.
so Mr. Perfect, legendary ribber. So what he did, he knew Yokozuna loved to eat. Okay, so they were on a plane, and Mr. Perfect sat next to him and took out a chocolate bar. And every time he took a bite, he went, that's good. For 5 bites. And Yoko kept looking at him like, hey, he wanted to ask him for a bite, but he couldn't. So eventually, Perfect went, do you want a bite? And he's like, yeah, brother. And he's like, no, here you go. Here's one for you. Gives him his own. Yoko apparently was so grateful. He was so happy to have some food. He eats it. After he gets about halfway through, he looks at Mr. Perfect and goes, what kind of chocolate is that? Mr. Perfect starts to laugh and goes, oh, you'll see. It was a laxative.
Oh, no.
They're on a plane, okay?
Oh, no, and he's huge.
Yeah, he can't get into the bathroom. So he goes over to one of the flight attendants and kind of whispers to her, and nobody knows what he said, but eventually what they did is they cleared out an aisle, put some blankets down, and he just laid waste in the aisle.
Oh!
Yeah, I read that in the Vader book. That was legit.
No!
Vader said he had never smelled something so bad in his entire life.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
Oh.
and that's why Mr. Perfect is the best ribber of all time.
Yeah, but is that also why Mr. Perfect would get his ass kicked? If I was on that plane and I knew what was happening, I would kill Mr. Perfect.
But Mr. Perfect was a shooter. Couldn't. He would
Yeah,
Mr. Perfect. You didn't mess with Mr. Perfect.
That was the greatest story. That was near the end of the book too. I just enjoyed. It was so funny. Okay, so we'll move on
to
from
the next brutal match.
So Dean Douglas came in. He was Shane Douglas in ECW. He was a big deal in ECW. Comes to the WWE and he's Dean Douglas and he's all about being a teacher or whatever. Shawn Michaels, rumor has it, has a concussion. I think he got beat up by a bunch of guys in a bar
He got
fight.
beat up by a bunch of Marines in
Yeah,
Syracuse.
he got drunk, ran his mouth, got beat up, and couldn't wrestle. So what they did was
And
he
also,
came out.
nice jacket, Sean.
Yeah, comes out. and he forfeits the title. But the weird thing is that he forfeits it to Dean Douglas. Rather than making it,
Dean Douglas.
yeah, but rather than making it just vacant, because they're going to wrestle for it right away.
Yeah,
So Dean Douglas is champion for, I don't know, how long was this match, Matt? Do you know?
Yes, this match was 11 minutes and 1 second.
So for 11 minutes and 1 second, Dean Douglas was the Intercontinental Champion. So Razor Ramon, who is part of the Clique, which is the group with Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall, comes out to wrestle.
And 1, 2, 3 Kid.
Yeah, sure. He sucks, though. So Razor Ramon comes out, his second match of the night. He's tired and wrestles a match against Dean Douglas. During this match, they have a pretty good match. Matt, you would say pretty good match?
No. Dean
Oh,
Douglas gets no offense for 8 minutes. There's no story. Nobody takes a bump.
I thought it was okay.
Awful.
I thought it
He
was
wins
okay.
with, Pat, he wins with a backdrop.
Okay, so anyway, so they Razor Ramon covers Dean Douglas.
Come on.
They get to 2, and Dean Douglas literally puts his whole leg outside the ring. The ref doesn't see it, counts 3. Razor Ramon is your new Intercontinental Champion. Dean Douglas was champion for 11
didn't even know who won.
But Dean Douglas like raised his hands like he won, which is super weird. He got shit on. Like Dean Douglas got the raw end of the stick in this whole issue, and he didn't last too long in WWE.
No, he went back to ECW and
did his thing there and
was the franchise. Then went to WCW and they hated him there, and
he did a Viagra on a pole match. So Shane Douglas had a great history in wrestling. So yeah, Razor Ramon's your new Intercontinental Champion. I actually gave this 2 out of 5. I didn't hate it.
I gave it 1. It was awful.
Yeah, Meltzer gave it a 1 too. So I don't know.
It was not good.
I thought it was okay. I kind of like Razor Ramon. So
I love Razor Ramon, but he won with a backdrop.
So, which leads us to our main event, Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. You give us this main event. First off, Bret Hart comes out, and I texted Matt immediately when I was watching this. I go, why is Bret Hart wearing a Calgary Hitmen jersey to do commentary?
Because the Calgary Hitmen were in their inaugural season. He was part owner of the team and was pushing their merchandise.
But he's in Winnipeg, so that's stupid.
Especially because the Wheat Kings. Ooh, what are you drinking there, Pat? Hold on.
What is wrong with you?
Okay. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about it. I have had 2 beers already. I'm currently pouring myself an Okanagan apple cider because they're delicious. The black cherry.
No, it's not.
Here's why I'm doing this. Okay, I will be that guy. If I drink more than 3 tall boys in a night, I have the worst hangover in the world.
What is wrong with you?
So I'm being vulnerable on the pod
It's
right now.
not
Can you
even
just let
the
me do
best
that?
flavor.
What's the best flavor?
Pear.
No, that's incorrect. It's the apple crisp.
So you're drinking not your best flavor.
Because I already drank them all. I already drank them all.
I am literally sitting here saying nothing because I'm embarrassed to be your brother right
Matt,
now.
should you and I have been brothers? I feel like you and I are more alike than you and Pat.
Yes.
Yeah,
You're both.
Oh my God,
frauds.
I should have hesitated more, but sorry,
you're both
Pat.
frauds. Whatever.
You're a fraud.
Wow. Whoa.
You never even been to the
Mom and Dad are
Okanagan.
ashamed of you.
Yeah.
Wow.
For other reasons, but it's okay.
Oh yeah. Let's go back to this main event.
So
Tip
anyway,
of the iceberg, Mom.
yeah, Helen.
Yeah, Helen in a cell.
Yes, still the best joke ever on this pod.
Okay, so the main event is the world champion Diesel against the British Bulldog. I mean, it was very clear that the British Bulldog was taking whatever vitamins Hulk Hogan was taking in the 80s.
Icapro.
So much Icapro. Holy crow.
Loved him so
What
much,
what was worse, Matt? This match or Bret Hart on commentary?
They put Bret Hart on commentary a lot from like 95 to like 90. When did he leave? 98?
Mm-hmm.
So in that 3-year span, he got a lot of commentary time. Why? I cannot.
You know what? Give him credit.
you.
Bret Hart is not a bad interview. Commentary is a totally different beast. He sucked at it. He was bad.
I guess
I
it's
love
good
Bret
to know
Hart.
he's not good at everything because he's a stud in the ring and he's a solid
he's a
interview.
stud.
Oh, Jordan, did you know he's the best there is, best there was, and best there ever will be?
I mean, according to him, that's what I say about myself as well.
I just stopped at best there was.
I can't believe that was the main event that we were given.
Well, he's the champion. The worst part about this match is they do a pan of the arena. There's so many empty seats.
Yeah.
Like why?
They're probably like Razor Ramon's done.
I'm telling you, people left.
Oh, for sure they did. It was just and the match, Diesel selling his knee, atrocious. He's
Him
brutal.
selling the knee?
Yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah, it wasn't good. I thought the Bulldog did a decent job in this match. I thought Cornette worked his butt off in this match.
Always does.
But I feel like Diesel could have done.
Question. Where was Cornette?
He was Bulldog manager.
Oh, what the hell, Wikipedia?
Okay, well, Jordan, if you actually watch the pay-per-views, you can
No, I agree. What the hell, Wikipedia? This is like common knowledge. But I just felt like there was two things. He needed to sell the leg better, and his comeback needed to be way better. Oh, it fell flat.
There was just so much that I didn't like about this. Like, the worst part was the finish. I hate it when announcers are confused and surprised that rules are enforced in a wrestling match. Like, what's going on? Don't you know? Isn't that your job?
Okay, so do you want me to explain another wrestling thing to you?
Yeah, go for it.
So Bret attacking Bulldog, it's a cheap finish, but it advances a face versus face story, which is Diesel against Bret Hart. You needed somebody to have a bit of an edge. It gives Bret a bit of an edge because he didn't want Bulldog to win because he didn't want to face Bulldog again. But what didn't make sense to me was the fact that basically Diesel kind of attacked Bret at the beginning of the match, and the ref was just like, yeah, that's cool. That's what kind of bothered me. I was like, why did he attack Bret?
Had the bell rung already?
Yes. It's like in the middle of the match.
That's bullshit. Yeah, that's bullshit.
It was dumb. It was so dumb.
It was just a bad match, and like, I don't know. It was not how you want to end the greatest pay-per-view in Winnipeg wrestling history.
We don't have a lot of time left, but I would like to ask a question now that we've rolled through this.
Go for it.
It seems like past wrestling was full of just continuity errors, because I can't think of a better way to put it.
Yeah.
And then modern wrestling seems to be almost dying from, not dying, but like struggling through
not having
issues,
enough.
not having enough. So what's better for you? Like, what are you more okay with? Like continuity errors and keeping things somewhat simple, but there being mistakes, or trying to like keep reinventing when they're almost running out of runway? Like, I know this might be a bigger conversation, but I can't help but think about that.
For me, it's just I need storylines to go for a long time, and you can make mistakes with continuity, but
over distance.
You can make a lot of little mistakes in a long period of time. What I find wrestling is doing now, they're making mistakes in a very short period of time.
I would say I'd rather you. I don't mind if you go like a month or two on a storyline, as long as it's logical all the way through. Like, I want continuity, and I don't need it to be a long continuity. I like callbacks too. So have a feud for 2 months, don't feud for 6, and then call back to that. And it's like, hey, no, you beat me. I want to beat you now. Like, go back to it. So is that continuity? I guess that's kind of like.
I guess.
A little bit.
But
it's tough. You could be Dom Dijakovic and just keep losing to everyone who's beat you in the past over and over.
He's Cassius Ohno, eh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Anyways, we're going to wrap this up here. So,
it's ruined for me now.
Meltzer gave this a 1 out of 5, the main event. I give it a 0 because it sucked. Matt, would you give it?
I give it a 1.
Yeah.
It was okay.
So overall, Matt, are you gonna cheers it?
Oh, I'm chugging this. Don't even go through them.
No, I'm gonna. You know what, Matt? You're a bad Winnipegger. I'm gonna cheers it because I think it's great.
You're so full of shit. You're the worst.
You're full of shit.
I'm gonna chug it, but guess what I'm chugging?
Staycation?
At this point in time, I'm chugging a Fort Garry something or other. because that's like the only microbrewery or craft brewery around. So
95.
Apparently, yeah. What 1920? What was that episode where it was like existing? Like we missed that.
we were
It's
way
been
off
it's been
on that
existent
one.
for 1 billion years apparently before the dinosaurs.
It was literally
Alright.
what cavemen drank.
But anyways, we'll wrap this up. That was In Your House 4. Next we were going to do Vengeance 2002 because Matt said it was, and I quote, a good card.
It is a good card.
We'll
Man,
see.
is it good enough that I should try to watch it?
Yeah, you should.
Damn.
Oh,
I won't,
okay.
but I can try.
So
Use
next
my count
week,
like you always do and just watch it.
next week we'll watch Vengeance 2002.
Shut up! Don't
Fraud.
tell them.
Fraud.
That's a felony.
We'll talk about our visit to Kilter, and you can follow us on Untapped. Me at Pat Gagne, Jordan at JSco55, and Matt at Gagne. Matt with 2 T's. You can follow us on Twitter at Bros Bumps Beers and at our Instagram account at Bros Bumps and Beers AND.
Don't
And-
follow us on Twitter. Just follow us
I'm
on
gonna,
Instagram.
I'm
'cause
gonna
it
look
makes
for a
Pat mad.
correlation between when we started 2Ts and if we have declining viewers. Like I'm gonna do some sort of X and Y axis. See if we get
God.
a
You know
correlation.
what, guys? I don't even care if this episode sucks. I had a great time. So you know what? We'll see you next week. And you know what? You drink local, damn it.